Jhanvi, fourth year CSE undergraduate at SRMRMP, ex-summer intern at Fiserv, upcoming SD intern at BNY Mellon, ex-GDSC SRMRMP Design Lead, ex-sketch design head at SRMRMP, and someone with a great knowledge in field of Web3 and foremost a marquee offer holder. How do you feel being coming to Vartalaap?
As soon as Sarthak reached out to me, I was like, yeah, I should definitely, do this. I mean, I've never done a podcast before, and being a part of this would be a nice experience for me. So, yeah, definitely, I would love to share my experience as well to all the listeners out there, about placements, about college life, etc. And I really hope it helps them.
Okay, so Jhanvi, the first and the foremost question when whole college talks about Jhanvi, the first thing which comes in mind is what was the feeling when offer came from BNY Mellon, marquee offer? I would like to tell people first, marquee offer is something in our college is above 20 LPA and all. So, Jhanvi, what was that moment? How was that moment?
I'll be honest, I was very, very, very excited. I felt like jumping. I was actually at my office at Fiserv. That's the place where I was doing my internship. So the news broke out there when I was working in the office. So as soon as I got the news, I shared it with my friends, I shared it with my family, and I was super excited. I was not expecting, to crack the interview with one go itself. The very first time I gave my interview and I was able to do it. So it was a great experience overall.
Like how the college started, how was it? Like how was it like when you entered? Did you hear like about the placements and everything? How it started in the college and how did the college help you?
Yeah, definitely. So, first off, the college started with the COVID wave. All right, we were all at home, and that's how college started the very first year. You won't believe we made our physical entrance in the college as seniors, so we never got the freshers party or anything like that. But yeah, the first year since I was at home, I wanted to utilize this time I had, to interact with people, to know people, and to explore the technical field I want to work in. I used this time to learn web development since I knew a little bit of programming beforehand because I had learned it from 9 to 12 itself. I had learned basics of programming like Java, C, C++, and I wanted to use this time to learn more. And this is the time I got the opportunity to join two technical clubs in my college. So one, like Sarthak said, being GDSC, which is Google Developer Student Club, and the other one being Sketch. So both these clubs had two different things to offer me, and through which I've learned a lot, and have got the opportunity to interact with a lot of people. And also during the interviews, this thing they noticed that that I interacted with people, made connections and networking. These things are very, very important, and recruiters see this a lot. So if you start from the very beginning itself, right, you just need a little bit of push. At first you might feel shy, or you might not open up a lot, but that's a boundary that you've got to push a little bit, I think, and step forward, talk to people. And yeah, the first year went like this itself. And as in terms of college, first year and second year subject wise, they're a little easier comparative to the third and fourth year. So you could, utilize this time. You can, yeah, I would also say that you have to keep your CGPA up. That's another thing I noticed during placements. They generally see anything above 9 or 9.5. So first and second year is a very good time. You could score easily and you could keep your CGPA up, and side by side attend a lot of technical events, network. So yeah, that's pretty much.
So Janvi, one more thing, like I would like to like you and me and our batch was told personally by our seniors like doesn't matter. And then when we came to this placement stuff, we realized okay, it matters a lot. So moving on to this only, describe placement process. How does it works? Right away from the start, training and all, and even I'll assist you with that in between. So just your experience of whole placement process and how it starts and how it works.
Okay, so the first offer that I got was from Pfizer. So I'll tell you through the process of that.
Yeah.
So the very first round was the resume shortlisting. So first, most important thing is that you should have a strong resume. You should have all good things and all good skills that you have, and also be truthful. Okay, you should not mention things you're not confident about in your resume, because that's very important. Because during interviews, they might, point that out and tell to explain more about it, and if you're not confident at that point of time, then it really shows that, you have not come well prepared, right? So that is one thing. So resume shortlisting was the very first round. The second round was GD, which is group discussion. So in that, what happens is there were 7 people in my group, and this happened online actually for the very first round. So all of this process that happened for Fiserv happened online for me. I didn't have to go to KTR. So in GD, that we were called on to a Microsoft Teams meet, and there were 7 people, and we were given topic on spot. So the topic I had got was, should people invest in cryptocurrencies? Now, I was pretty lucky that I had been, a little bit exploring the Web3 field,
Exactly.
going through a lot of events like Web3 events and stuff. So I was very lucky that I got this topic, and you don't get time to prepare also, it's just like they shoot
Yeah.
the topic at you and you have to speak. And so I was actually, I stood out of the group because I pointed out few things that other people
Huh.
didn't speak. So in GD, it's not just about going with what points you have, but you have to try to stand out from the crowd so they notice you. So that is one important thing about GD. It should be relevant. Do not try to just beat around the bush, and don't try to repeat points. That's what people say. So try to stand out of the crowd in GD, and you'll definitely get noticed and go to the next round. Right?
One more
So
thing, Janvi, before
yeah.
I proceed to the next, didn't you got this feeling when you got this topic of cryptocurrency? Then didn't you get in your mind, okay, now this is something tailor made. Now it's happening. Now you can see that happening or something like that.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I was very nervous, honestly. Like, joining the meet itself, seeing the recruiter right in front of you,
Yeah.
seeing you, listening to, all that expressions, okay, okay, she has got this point. I was just like, oh my God, okay, this is real, this is real, this is happening. So, yeah, I mean, it is a different feeling. It's a feeling you can't explain. It's only
Yeah.
at that moment when you're there, when the recruiters are asking you questions and stuff like that, it's
Yeah.
a whole lot different experience.
And the faces they make now, you're never able to read. Okay, whether it's happy,
Exactly.
and yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. True.
So going
Those are
forward from the GD.
yeah. So after the GD, I had a technical round. So in technical round, they asked a lot of questions related to DSA. And first off, any round, if no matter what round, it starts with your introduction. So again, you have to give a very strong introduction about yourself. The introduction is the very first thing that the recruiters will notice, and take key points from that and ask questions from that itself. Is what I have noticed actually. So if you say that during your introduction, if you say I'm good at Java, so there's a chance that they'll start asking you more Java questions, and that's kind of what happened with me. Okay, so first off, it started very general. Okay, and then I kept saying that in 9th and 10th I had studied Java. They're like, okay, so you have studied Java, all right. So they kept on asking me questions from Java. Okay, and that's something I wasn't prepared for, honestly. Okay, so it was like I was like, okay, C plus Python. Okay, I'm okay. I'll just go and give my shot. Okay, that's what I was. That's how I prepared. And then they started asking, and they asked me, like, they gave me a snippet in Java, and they're like, find error in this. Okay, so I found the error and I told, and they're like, are you sure? Are you sure about this? I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure. They're like, are you sure? I mean, you don't find anything else? I'm like, no, I don't. So this is where the recruiters will try to confuse you. Okay, they'll manipulate you into giving the wrong answer, even though you're right.
This
Alright?
this has happened with me as well. This has happened with me as well. Like till the last moment, they'll make you feel like okay, you're doing something wrong. Even if you're right, they'll make you feel like okay, you're doing something wrong. Please, please have a look again. So yeah.
Yeah, that definitely happened with me, and I started self-doubting. So
Exactly.
this is a thing you have to be very careful of. You should not self-doubt. Okay, just stop self-doubting, and be confident with your answer. And just, if in case you don't know an answer, just straight off say, I'm sorry, I am not familiar with this topic, but I'll definitely get back to it. It's better than answering something wrong. Okay, they also like this fact that you're being honest. In case you, I mean, we are all humans, right? We don't know everything, whatever they ask, right? So there's a chance you might not know something. So just be honest and say that this is a topic I'm not familiar with, but these are the other things I know, and you could answer in that way. So that's one thing I, did during the interviews, and that helped me out a lot.
Okay, before we skip on to the next question, BNY Mellon experience.
Okay. BNY Mellon experience was a whole another level because that was physical interviews. So I had gone to
Yeah,
the campus. I had the people sitting in front of me taking the interview, and I was so nervous to even step inside the room. Okay, so other people go either go and give the interview, and they come out of the room, and you're just like, what did they ask? How was it? Okay, and your mind is boggling with all those questions. You're like, okay, okay, you have to be prepared, you have to be prepared. So I started preparing all the questions that they were frequently asking. It was they're mostly related to DSA. So the first round was a technical round, and there were two technical rounds and one HR round that happened. And before all these interviews, there was a coding round that happened online itself. So a, a lot of people cleared that. So after that, only these interviews had happened. And yeah, I mean, like, started asking about DSA, then they slowly moved on to other domains such as AIML and web development, operating system. I mean, they asked from every single domain you could think of, So you
everything.
have to, yeah, you have to be prepared, and it'll be very random. It's something you can't be prepared all the time for, okay? You'll just go back to all the things you had learned in your classes, okay? You'll be like, okay, I remember them asking something about multi-threading and multi-processing. Okay, now that's something I won't come
4OS.
prepared with.
4OS.
Yeah, yes.
4OS.
So they asked me that, and I'm like, okay, wait, wait, yeah. And I started remembering things I learned in class, and I'm just telling that to them. They're like, okay, fine. We're kind of satisfied with the answer. All right. So
And they skip on to that system design thing. Sometimes that happens.
Yeah. Okay, so I remember another question that they asked. They're like, okay, so one of them just pointed at the laptop and they're like, explain the architecture of this laptop. And I'm like, okay, all right, this is going into COA now. Okay, computer organization architecture. And I'm just like going back to the class where we had learned everything, so it's very important you pay attention in class. I know sometimes it's not that easy, but
Yeah.
you do have to pay attention in class because all these points really help you a lot, during interviews, I would say.
So Janvi, wasn't that thing in your mind like, okay, I have Fiserv in my hand,
Hmm.
and even if the things doesn't work out at BNY Mellon, cool. I'm like, okay, I have something, and wasn't that a point of confidence stepping into for BNY Mellon?
That definitely was, because I was actually working in Pfizer at that point of time, and I had this confidence with me that, okay, I have at least one offer in hand. This is the very first interview I'm going for, so I may or may not be able to crack it, which is fine, which is totally fine. So, yeah, that is actually right. That actually was a point of that added to the confidence in me, facing these interviews because I already had an offer in hand.
Cracking companies is little harder. The companies amount of companies usually used to come is now comparatively less. So grabbing two offers in this session, is a it's really a brilliant thing. So how do you feel? Do you feel lucky, or do you what do you feel about that?
Honestly, yeah, a part of luck did play in this. You know, it's actually kind of, I got lucky that I was able to clear every single round I went through in the very first go itself. You know, so it's also about your performance in the interviews and all. That was also a very important thing. But yeah, luck does play a little bit. Okay, so in placements, how much of a good you are and how much of a great your resume is, a little bit of luck is needed. So yeah, and grabbing two offers at this point of time is I don't know how I got lucky.
Okay, one more thing. Which question comes to me? A lot of
Yeah.
juniors ask me if someone is getting two offers, what did they say to the other company? So, what was your reply to the Pfizer? Like, you don't want to continue or what?
Okay, so this thing was handled by the placement cell.
Placement office.
So, yeah, the placement cell had called me and they had asked, which offer would you like to take? And I said I would like to take BNY Mellon, although I am very happy with the Pfizer offer and I'm glad I got the opportunity to do an internship over there. But I will have to, I mean, like, since BNY seems to be a better offer, I'll definitely take that up. So, that's how I kind of replied to them through mail as well. So that is a formality that you'll have to do, you know.
Um, okay, Jhanvi, before I dive into importance of DSA and all that stuff, I want to ask, like, people used to know that the image of Jhanvi was like, okay, Jhanvi is someone who is more into design. And like this never came to our notice, like, okay, Jhanvi was someone who was good with the programming and all that stuff. So I would like to ask you, uh, is learn in public a good thing? And or you should just keep your things to yourself and you should work, you
Uh,
should never, always, put all the things up and
mhm.
just be a silent hustler and prove the world when it comes when comes the right time.
Okay, so that's a very nice question, honestly. Yeah, a lot of people know me more as a, designy and art kind of person, because I was more into UX UI designing and graphic designing in the first and second year. And honestly, I took up the pace from the technical point of view in the third year. So third year was when I actually did an internship in the technical domain, which is like again web development only. But yeah, it instilled the confidence in me, that yeah, technical domain is again something I can do. I can still develop myself in this, and it's never too late to learn. And you said like about being quiet and not letting people know. I mean, people who were around me knew about it. Yeah, maybe I didn't put things forward a lot, like to all in public. But yeah, I definitely did share it with my friends around. Like this is something I'm working on and things like that. And I like to talk to everyone. And there's nothing I love to share knowledge. That's the best thing you could do with the knowledge you have is to share it with everyone. You know. So like I'm doing over here, sharing my experience. I really hope it helps everyone. So, yeah.
So coming to the pet and the primary question which I have come across every time and I have even put up to the people, my seniors as well. How much DSA and problem solving is enough DSA? And
Okay.
basically, is DSA is the only thing or it's a part of
Okay. So, yes, a lot of people have reached out to me as well, asking the very same question. Okay. So, I would say I'll be honest. I had learned programming since the very ninth grade itself. Okay. So, I knew concepts of Java in ninth and 10th, and I had learned C and C++ in 11th and 12th. So, I was very confident with at least the basic of OOPS with me since the very beginning. All right. So, how much of DSA is something I don't know how to answer? You could definitely do at least one or two questions daily, I would say. There are a lot of platforms. I think a lot of people might tell this as well, like Lead Code, HackerRank, Hacker. You could always do kind of programming, questions on these platforms, and you could do one or two. I'm not saying that you do 50 or 100 questions, in 1 or 2 weeks. Just do one or two problems. It's just a practice that instills your mind to keep working, keep thinking in a logical manner. That's the only thing you need to practice, honestly. That's the most important thing. And with respect to interviews, I would say that when it comes to DSA, you should be confident and clear about all the data structures in general, the linear, non-linear, and stacks, trees, queues. So a lot of people, instead of the simple, int, float, they don't ask you all of that, right? So your main focus should be on stacks, queues, linked lists, trees, and graphs. So these are the most important things. And they also ask, they since a lot of people get intimidated by interviews and stuff, so the recruiters are also sometimes lenient, so they might tend to ask simple questions such as sorting techniques as well. And sometimes people tend to forget these simple sorting techniques as well. So, you should be familiar with the time complexities, space complexities of all of these. So this is very important. They'll suddenly come and ask you, tell me the time complexity of Mozart. And you'll be like, oh, wait, that slipped out of my mind to learn,
Yeah.
or revise. So it's a simple thing, right? And we tend to, what we do is we tend to practice all those hard sums we see. We're like,
Mhm.
I'm able to do medium level, hard level, but we tend to forget to practice these small, simple things. So I
What you
believe,
said, yeah, what you said,
yeah.
adding to this, there is a myth goes around. You do 500 lead code problems and then everything is settled for you. I don't agree to it, to be frank.
Definitely, I don't agree as well.
Many people say that okay, you have done DSA, you can prove your DSA by showing this lead code, your lead code profile or any profile, like you have solved this much questions. Does this matter that you have to give contest or you should have a good grade in a contest like that code chef contest or code forces contest for the DSA thing?
It actually all depends upon the company and what are their criterias. So not all companies ask for your profiles on all these coding platforms. Only a few of them do, and all these companies that do ask have a very high package. You know, like I had given the test for D Shaw, and they had a very high package, and they did ask profile for every single coding platform I remember. So yeah, these contests and these scores do matter when you're trying for high level packages, but I'm not sure about the low level ones, but yeah, definitely high ones that do see your scores and all the things that you do on your coding platform.
But before Rachit puts up the next question, I have this question. DSA is divided as per the packages, like dream companies will ask this much, super dream will ask this much, and marquee will ask everything.
Yeah.
So is it true, like it is divided like array strings and linked lists will be asked for dream super dream, and prior to 10 lakhs and above will be asked graphs as well, and mark you everything.
Okay, see, I wouldn't say there is a distinction.
Mm.
I
Yeah,
mean, again, it all depends upon the requirements of the company, what they're
exactly.
looking to, and it all depends upon the interviewer.
Hmm.
What is he going to look, what is he looking for in you? Okay, what skills matter for the role that they're recruiting for you? They can even ask you from SQL and stuff like that. Okay, so your they might not even ask you DSA, may it be lower ones or higher packages if their role is asking for a back end role. Okay, so they might not even ask DSA that much. They might ask about SQL or MongoDB and things like that. So when it comes to any company, I would say you have to be prepared with at least a little bit of every single domain. Okay, not only DSA, not only OOPS, be prepared with AIML. So I personally didn't know AIML much. Okay, and they did ask me a few AIML questions, so I wasn't very confident with that. So after the interviews and after I got the offer, I utilized that time to learn AIML, and now I'm pretty much confident with it. So you know utilize all the time you have to explore each and every domain one by one, and try to create at least one project, right? Only one project. I'm not. It shouldn't be a very complex project as well. Just one simple project so that you get hold of the basic things you need from that domain, and you are able to answer any questions that they ask for you from it. So there's nothing like that the lower ones will ask you only this or the higher ones will ask you only this. The any package, any company, anything, depending upon the role, depending upon the requirement, they can ask you from any domain.
Okay, understood. I feel like audience will relate to this as well.
Okay, my next question is like you have mentioned everything about the placement things and everything, but the first thing in the placement, as you said, was resume shortlisting. And how important is a resume and
Yes.
how to build one? Like how an ideal resume, like if you give
Yeah.
this resume to any company, they'll be like, okay, shortlist this or him or her, it should be good asset to our company. Which ideal resume is
Yes.
like?
So yeah, about resume as well. I myself don't feel yet my resume is good enough. Okay, I still feel I can do better in my resume. I mean, there's still a better way to build it. Okay, so the very first thing, I'll probably tell you the order in which I believe a good
Yeah.
resume should be. Okay, for the very first being your education. Okay, mentioning where you're doing your degree and your CGPA, right? After that, you can mention about your work experience. That's something people look for. For example, the places where you have done internships in, and or any kind of thing, any internship or any club, that any technical club you're a part of, right? You could put that in experience, because that experience actually counts, because they do look, okay, so this person has leadership skills in this particular club because he is a part of this or she is a part of this, right? So you could put that in the domain of experience maybe. And the next thing you could write about is your skills. Okay, what are skills you have made, soft skills or your technical skills? Mention as much as you can about yourself in skills, and also the projects that you have done. Okay, so highlight them, highlight your projects. After your experience and skills, projects is one important thing that they see a lot. I mean, in interviews as well, they personally asked me to explain each and every project I had done, like what did you do, what was your role in this, and how did you contribute to this project, and these kind of things. You may not be able to mention it in your resume, but you should get hold of it, remember it, and when they ask you, you should be confident enough to answer about it, right? Because you've done the project, obviously, so you'll definitely know about it, right? So after mentioning all of this, I think the next part is, if you have any kind of publication or you have any
Yeah.
research paper, right, you can mention about that. And after that, the end thing would be your extracurricular activities, if you're a part of any community or things like that. So I'm a part of this community called Women Tech Makers. So I mentioned that in my resume because that's also a little extracurricular, but also comes a little bit on the technical side. So recruiters do notice that, you know. So interacting, social, being social, networking with people, all these things matter a lot. So try to mention as much as you can in your resume.
I have seen at I'm doing after research on resume. I have seen many people say that according to every company, you can like tweak your resume a little bit according to
Yeah.
their requirements and everything. What do you think about that? Or else we
Yeah,
can
I
keep a
mean,
default resume thing.
yeah, I mean, you could do that as well, depending upon the role or the requirement. Again, you can highlight those things. For example, you have five projects with you, all right, and two of them about front end, two of them about back end, one about AIML maybe. And the role that they're looking for is back end. So what you'll do, you'll highlight your back end ones, okay? You'll, in the skills also, rather than mentioning about the front end more, you'll probably mention more about your back end, right? So you could do that. I mean, but you'll have to create so many resumes for that. So probably an ideal way would be, try to mention everything you have done in a proper way so that it's visible, clear to any company, okay? Any role, any company that they're looking at your resume. It's really up to you, and I wouldn't say you shouldn't do that. Some people do that. Even I have seen that. But I personally have kept one resume only, which I apply everywhere.
Janvi, like you talked about, you know, you said in third year. What was your personalized roadmap
Mhm.
to crack all this?
Okay. So I'll start probably from the first year, I think.
Yeah.
So the first year, like I told, I utilized the time in getting, being part of two technical clubs. Other than that, I was trying to search for internships, honestly, because I thought that the great learning would be through internship. So through these technical clubs itself, through some of the seniors, I got the opportunity to do an internship in second year, which is again more of UI UX designing, because that's a field I was actually exploring at that domain at that moment. So I when I got the opportunity by just talking to a senior, I was like, wow, okay, how this is how being social actually is important. You can get an internship opportunity itself through this. So after being a part of that internship, I realized, yeah, I do have the potential, I do have the skills to do UI UX designing, but at the same time, I felt that maybe this is not enough. I should be exploring other domains as well. So, other than that, in the second year, I kind of spent most of my time attending a lot of technical events so that I would get hold of all the technologies that are out there and be updated myself. In third year, I did another internship in a startup, which was more on the technical side, which was actually web development. But I did get hold of the idea of how the technical side can be, and I was confident with that as well. So after that, I side by side was doing another research paper with a friend of mine, and it was in the blockchain domain. Again, that domain was very new to me. So
If
I
I'm
had
not wrong,
people.
If I'm not wrong, it was related to crowdfunding and all.
Yes, it was
Yeah.
crowdfunding using smart contracts.
Hmm.
So again, this concept was pretty new to me. So I had people and friends around me, who helped me and understand this concept altogether. And I myself was researching a lot. So one important key that I feel is that you should never stop learning. Try
Hmm.
as much as you can, whatever time you have, whatever wherever you are, try to learn as much as you can from the people around you and have fun at the same time. I mean, like, not only studying and doing all this, but yeah, definitely, just try to learn as much as possible. That's the only key thing I have felt is very, very important, in all of this. So yeah, this is how I kind of spent all my time till third year, and fourth year was pretty much the time I was in like placements mode.
I'd like to add one more thing. When we talk about internship over here,
Yeah.
I would like, before people go mad, like if first years was this, they'll start, banding after Jhanvi told internship and they'll start. So, not to go to that, how much important are the skills first? Skills, you should run behind skills or you should run behind internships. These are two different things.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Okay, so only when you're confident with your skills, definitely then only go after the internship. Don't go running after internship randomly and be like, yeah, that's through which I will learn. That's it should be the other way around. Okay, so now think about UI UX. Why I took that domain first was since I was a part of a technical club in our college called Sketch. I had been learning graphic designing through that itself. Through the seniors and people who had me guided through this domain, which got me interested and intrigued about it. And that's why I decided to take up the internship. It's not the other way around. I'm like, let me take an internship and learn the domain. It's not like that. Okay, like you pointed out, that's actually a very, very valid point. Don't run behind internships, like I said,
Exactly.
but definitely work on your skills. When you're confident, yeah, you are somewhere at a part where you can pick up the pace by learning an internship. Then look for an internship. Don't straight away go learning for it, go looking for an internship.
Even Prasu said the same thing when he joined us last time on the podcast. Like, run behind skills first. Once you have something,
Hmm.
then you go behind internships. That's the ideal way.
All engineers will accept that no one likes to go classes. Everyone likes to, okay, I have 75, I'll like go bunk this class, I'll go bunk that class. But when coming to the placement as a CSC guy, everyone is like, okay, OS, DBMS, these and all are the, you know, core subjects that you have to learn very much. But these are all the classes we bunk. So how important that plays a role in the placement? As you already mentioned that these are the topics the interview rule ask you, but obviously the students doesn't want to sit in the class and attend the lectures. So what do you think?
Yeah, that's definitely a part where, I did feel the same sometimes, but, it is actually very important to attend these classes. Not everyone agrees to that, but yeah, I mean, that's the push that you might have to give to yourself if that's a small push, just attending a class, just listening for at least out of 40 minutes, so it's not, the whole 40 minutes goes in teaching, right? So at least 20 to 30 minutes, if you could just pay attention to at least a little bit of that, you could grab something very important and that might stay in your mind. So I personally, what I do is, in order to pay attention in class, I write down notes. Okay, so that really helps me. Writing down notes side by side, that kind of forces me to listen. I have to listen. I have to write this down. So those notes actually help you. You may refer to it later on, and even if you don't refer it, you definitely tend to remember it, right? So listening to class is actually kind of important. Yeah, people bunk and all, and they're like 75% is it. That's it. I personally had to maintain 90% because I had scholarship. Okay, so I had to attend the classes. So I had to
One more
attend
thing,
classes.
Janvi,
Yeah.
like you talked about this, and I agree to your point. Once you start taking interest, even you take interest for the couple of classes,
Hmm.
then you start taking interest, then you start developing an interest.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's a separate thing. But how much OS directly, how much OS, DBMS, and CN plays into important role in technical interviews as well?
I'll be honest, they can ask you anything.
Anything.
Okay.
Yep.
They can ask you anything. It can be very random. Okay. Like I told you about my experience from OS, they asked multi threading and multi processing. Okay. So I was like, wait, why all of this sudden? Or like, pointing towards the laptop and asking, what is the architecture and computer organization of
Yeah,
this laptop? And I'm like, okay, fine, all right. So you technically have no choice, but you can't be prepared for these kind of situations. So, I would say for any subject, just be thorough with the basics. You may not have to go in detail, right? Be it any subject, be it OS, DBMS, or anything. Um, Recruiters do tend to try it, keep it to the basic level. Try, okay, I'm not saying all recruiters do that, but
yeah.
yeah, try to keep, at least you yourself should be confident with the basics is what I would say.
Basically, like basics is everything. If not everything, but basics is something which are looked like how much basic level he knows, how much these guys have the understanding of the thing.
Yeah.
Jhanvi, moving on to this like placement, we are making it more like monotonous towards placement. How was the experience with design and the field of design? Because Jhanvi is someone who is known for her designs. So how was that?
Yeah, okay. So, um, from the very beginning, I've always had an
Mm.
interest in art. At the same time, I always had interest in computer science. All right. So, the best way to combine these two interests is graphic designing and UI UX
Yeah,
designing. Okay. So, I personally, I why I like graphic designing was I had learned it from a senior in Sketch Club, and he really made it interesting. He would keep sessions regularly every week, and we and he would be like, you learn this technique on your own and try to teach this technique to others, right? So you tend to you yourself going through YouTube and going through different links and trying different ways of implementing the technique that you learned into the design, right? So this is the way I learned. Okay, it was more of self learning, I would say. I've not done a course professionally, but yes, I love it. Even now, I would if I'm scrolling through Instagram, I still get anything related to UI
designs.
UX. It's saved always. So yeah, I mean, it's more of self learning, and I loved it because I also had a love for art from the very beginning. So after graphic
Okay.
designing,
Uh,
yeah,
to capture this point, your
yeah,
interest in art. Uh, it's my personal observation. Lot of juniors come and tell, like, ask from me whether we should start UI UX. It's good and it's easy and all. But I believe UI UX is something who doesn't comes to everyone naturally.
yeah.
The one who is very good in art, one who is very creative, is the one who can be a good designer.
Yeah, definitely. I would agree to that. I mean, UI UX is all about having a different perspective, I would say. Your
Yeah,
perspective, your opinion, your thought process, this is all is different. That's what makes a design different from another design. I could see
yeah,
a particular design from this point of view, and you might see it from another point of view, right? You may like a few things, I might like the other things. So UI UX is something, yeah, like it said, it comes naturally to people. I mean, if you have the interest, if you have the urge to learn more, you will definitely go deep into it. You will definitely learn more techniques that are there, you know, and there are a lot of platform nowadays where you can learn and try to implement. What I would say is, like, be it any field, even UI UX, try to implement what you have learned side by side.
yeah.
While you're watching the YouTube video, you could side by side implement the design that you're looking into, right? So that really
Yeah.
helps. Self learning helps a lot, I would say.
I have spoke to one or two senior about the placement. They also had a pretty good package. And the one thing they said, and I found both in common, was that luck. Like, okay, I got this. Okay, it was on luck. I got this. This was on luck. I said, okay, how can both the seniors say that the same point that okay, it was on luck. We had not like planned for this or nothing. It was on based on luck, and we got it, and we are grateful for that. So like even you said you had that luck factor when we are talking about replacement thing. So what do you think? How much luck factor is really important?
How to rate the level of luck you need, but definitely more luck is important. But like I said, your performance during the
Exactly.
interviews, it pays a lot. When it comes to luck, it's maybe that you performed very well. Okay, you might have not expected that out of you. You know, I personally didn't expect that I would go inside a room, answer most of the questions that they ask and come out. Okay. When I came out, I was like, oh my god, did this just really happen? I was able to answer almost everything. Okay. So I don't know how to rate, like you said, the luck that you need. But luck will come automatically if you put in that hard work, your
Yeah.
dedication. That luck will automatically come to you, right? That hard work, dedication, and that perseverance you need in this process. And look of positive, you have to be positive, right? You can't think like, oh my god, this is not going to work out, I don't think I did well. I mean, sometimes it does happen, we might get demotivated, but you have to try to be as positive as possible. Hard work and dedication, I think these things are very important, with a little bit of luck, like you said.
And Jhanvi, one of the question which I heard out of nowhere is like it's my personal experience. When you know when like you're about to get the offer, you get a feeling. Okay, now like when things started falling in that way, like you start thinking, okay, now this is my day, and I'll get it. When you come out, you get that feeling. Okay, I'll get it. So when you came out of both of those interviews, was that thought in the mind like, okay, it's done? Like you didn't tell it to anyone, but it was still you. Like okay, it's done.
I'll be honest, yes, I did have that feeling. Yeah, maybe it did go well. It went a little bit like much better than what I had expected. So yeah, I mean, I kept that feeling to myself. Yeah, that's true. I kept that feeling to myself. And I was like, because it feels like the more you say it, probably you raise the
Yeah,
expectation of other people. But
exactly.
I kept it to myself, and I did feel, yeah, I probably did do good, and I might be able to get the offer. And a little bit of prayers might help as well. So yeah.
One more thing before Rachit goes, I would like to ask: skill building or desired college curriculum, which should be followed, and if a balance has to be maintained, then how it has to be maintained between the two.
Okay, I would say a balance has to be maintained definitely. You should be working on developing your skills, but you should also focus on your academics and curriculum because both are very, very important. Okay, there might be a case where the skills that you want to learn or interested in may not be covered in your curriculum or in whatever the faculties teach, but it is up to you how you balance it. You have to, at least what I do is, uh, whatever the time I have, okay, I try to divide an hour, probably just say it an hour, give half an hour to this and half an hour to that. Okay, it's not like every day you have to spend 3-4 hours in studying or only on skill building. Okay, just give an hour or two to yourself. Okay, hour or two, that's max you have to do. Okay, may not be every day. Okay, just try to give an hour or two to yourself and the skills that you want to learn, as well as give a little bit of time towards the academics. Okay, about academics, the thing is, you can learn that, you can grasp that very quickly, and the same thing you have to write as answer. But skills that you learn, right, it's not something that you have to answer to someone, it's something that you will be expected to implement in your work, right? So trying to find a balance between how you answer in your exams and trying to skills that you learn which you're going to implement in your work, that's a balance that you'll have to find yourself sometime. And like I said, an hour or two to yourself would be enough a day.
Can you give us just an ideal roadmap to the first year guy who has entered to the college? He also wants a very good market offer like you. He's like, okay, I want to get that offer. What should I do according to, okay, first year, second year, third year, fourth year? What all the steps I should do? What the skills I should require in all these 4 years so that I can get to that level of placement?
Okay, like I've already said, I had told all my experience of how I went through the first and second year and third year.
Yeah.
So, what I feel is, again, the very first thing that you should do is try to network and learn from the people around you, right? That's the very first thing that you could do. By taking part or taking a first step in being a part of any technical domain or a technical club in your college would definitely help you a lot. From the people that are there in the club, from the seniors that are there in the club, they can definitely guide you, help you through to learn what's there, what's latest, what's hot, what's going on, right? They will help you to get caught up with all the latest technologies that are out there, right? And the next thing I believe that like I said, in every first year there are 2 semesters, right? You could take one
Yeah.
semester at hand. Okay, take a particular domain that you are interested in. Okay, for example, let's take blockchain. Okay, take that domain. Okay, go through it. Do you know people around you? Do you know anyone who's around you who's in the same thing? Collaborate with them. Try to learn what they have learned, or they can learn from you as well. Okay, go out there. Internet is a big place we could learn, definitely, right.
Yeah.
So take out just take up topics that you think are important related to that domain. Spend at least a few months. Okay, take 3-4 months. Okay, take your time, go slow. Okay, it's not like you have to be in a rush. Okay, this topic you have to just finish it off. Don't do it for the sake of finishing a topic. Just you have so many semesters. You technically have 8 semesters. You could just learn 8 domains altogether, right. So just take a semester, take a domain. Okay, like you said, the question was about balancing curriculum in this, right? So all you have to do is take one particular domain, make a project out of it. The project itself will help you so much, to learn about it. And it may be a simple project. It's no one saying that you have to create a very complex or out of the world project, right? So try to keep it as simple as possible. Try to pick a domain and try to do it. So if you do this every semester, every year, by the end of each year, you'll have 2 domains covered, right? So I think this approach is kind of helpful to me, honestly.
Janvi, one more thing: patience and how to keep your cool. What has primarily like helped you out? How to maintain the patience, because placement is a cumbersome process. The
Yeah.
deeper and deeper it gets, depression increases, and I'm still with the people who are going through that phase. So how much importance is the patience in keeping your cool kind of thing plays?
Definitely, I would say during the process of Fiserv itself, okay, so each and every round took a lot of time. Okay, I got the result probably after 4-5 months after the very first round, and the result was announced 4-5 months later. So it was a long process. Okay, and yeah, people, it does happen. It happens naturally, right? You tend to lose patience. Okay, but here's the thing that will probably help you keep motivated is to look forward, being positive, right? You might get the offer, right? So you're working hard towards it, and you're giving all you have for it, right? So if you're doing so much for getting that one offer, why not be just a little patient, you know to be happy in the end, getting that feeling, oh my god, I had gone through this effort, this long race, and I was able to complete the race, right? So
Yeah.
that happy feeling, that feeling of satisfaction that you'll get in the end, that probably might help you, just a little bit patience, things, small things, even like doing a little bit of exercise and meditation each and every day. These very small little things can help you, because physical, as long as physical health is important, mental health is very much important in terms of placement, I would say. Yeah.
Janvi, one more thing before I hand over to Rachit for other things. Have you seen your world changing before placement and after placement, like the people around you? People increase, or the behavior of people towards you. Did your world change? Because personally, my world changed after that.
Yeah, that definitely did happen. There was a slight change of approach by the way people approach you. Like, they're like, oh my God, that's the girl who got that offer. Okay, I was actually walking on the road, and randomly a junior approached, and they're like, oh my God, that's the senior. That poster is there up there. She's there on that poster. Yeah, that's a whole new feeling. You kind of get a celebrity feeling sometimes, so yeah, yeah, it does happen. There is a slight change. You sometimes feel like a celebrity, but I would say that even after all of this, I would never stop learning. Try stop. Still I would love to network, love to talk to people, love to learn as much as I can. So even after all this, I still love to learn.
Like, I would like to add on to this. Even you and both are plays. Even I'm working on different things. Still, I'm working with blockchain and other part. Like, so, learning should never stop. I would like to agree on this.
Yeah, yeah.
And one more thing I would like to ask: how much role? I asked Prayasu this as well. How much importance and how much important role did your club GDSC played? GDSC, I don't need to introduce to the people out there what is GDSC. So, how much role GDSC played in making Janvi what Janvi is today?
Yeah, GDSC has been probably one of the most integral part of building who I am today, because all the friends I have at present are actually through this club. Not only this, also Sketch Club. Both these clubs have helped me a lot, given me the confidence, given me the skill of being, able to showcase myself out there, what I am capable of, and even skill of leadership. I love to take up such roles and I love to volunteer. Both of these have helped me out there, to interact with people. I wasn't a very much, I was kind of person who wouldn't interact with people much before, but both these clubs helped me come out of that comfort zone and, reach out to people if I need help. And then the best part about it is that in both the clubs there were like-minded people like me, who wanted to do something, who were looking, who were the kind of people who wanted to learn just like me, made anything. Okay, so I love to be around like-minded people, and both these clubs are very important to me because, like I
Yeah.
said, the friends I have at present are because of these clubs. So, yeah, I mean, it's a really important part of my life.
Important that the networking role plays in getting referrals or in getting another placement opportunities and everything.
Yeah, this networking thing is very, very important, like I said. Okay, so the two internships that I had got in second and third year was actually just by networking through people. Okay, like I was in a meet, on a Discord meet with a senior and couple of my friends. Okay, and in the middle of the night we were just simply randomly discussing, and it turns out that the senior was a part of this company and he helped me get an internship there. So, just a simple conversation with any senior or anyone around you, it can be so helpful to you. You may not know it at that point of time, but later on, you remember, okay, I had interacted with that senior, I had interacted with this person, that this person might be helpful, might help me later on. You never know, right? It can be in any terms, not only, getting internships or anything, but if you're stuck in some project or, you need some help, these are the people you can, look up to, if you need them, around for, help, they can help you out in these projects and all of that. So it's very important. And in terms of interviews and recruiting point of view, recruiters do see this a lot. I mean, I was appreciated for the fact that I had, taken part in a lot of these technical clubs and, attended a lot of events and stuff. The HR actually told this. So it is actually very, very important, I would say. It just, think about you coming out of that comfort zone a little bit, and you're trying to make the move that you go talk to people. It is just a little bit of push and you'll be able to do it, I would say.
So, Janvi, since we are moving towards the end of it, your one single piece of advice, we asked this to Prayasu as well. What's your one single piece of advice for someone who is starting in the college, who is there in the college, who is in his second year and prominently to the third years? What's gonna be your one piece of advice?
Okay. I would say that never stop learning. That's my mantra, I would say. Try to learn, try to interact with people as much as possible. A simple conversation can itself teach you so much, I believe. So, this is my goal mantra, I would say. Try to learn as much as possible, try to grasp, increase your grasping power as much as you can. And it's never late to learn. I mean, especially for the third years out there, you think, is it okay if I start now? Even a simple thing, it's never late to learn, I would say. You could always start at that point of time, and definitely you'll be able to catch up, I would.
Janvi, it was a great experience with you coming over here. A lot of third years are still spamming my DM with the placement related doubts. You might have getting them that as well.
Yeah,
So,
definitely. Yeah.
this will clear a hell lot of stuff and things. And one more thing before I close this, one more thing I want to ask is people get very conscious that okay, they are not getting it, and companies will, exhaust, and then, there will be situation they'll remain unemployed or something. So, my personal opinion is that should not be feared of. A lot of companies come in
Mhm.
our college. What's
Definitely.
your take on this?
I definitely agree on that. I mean, there are still a lot of people who think you might not get placed. So there are companies, it won't get exhausted very soon.
Yeah.
There are a lot of companies. I have lost count of the number of companies that have come by now. So, and there might be so many companies that you might have heard of, but later on, those
Yeah.
are the companies you'll get placed in. You never know. Right. So, definitely you shouldn't have the fear that you'll not be placed. I would also say that probably you should have backup plans too. In case you feel like that, there's nothing wrong in having a backup plan. But be positive towards the thing that you'll definitely get placed, right? And side by side, you could probably look for backup, I would say.
Even I remember, like I got placed at my 100th attempt.
Hmm.
And when I was figuring out, okay, it's the 199 attempts done and it's the 100 one which so in fact, it was early when I see now. It's still going, the
Hmm.
process is still going. Then I find like, okay, that
Exactly.
was also early. So yeah, that's something which should not be kept in mind. That's just people should focus on their work.
Hmm. Definitely. Yeah. I mean, it's all about giving your best shot at the
Hmm.
very every
Yeah,
opportunity you get. That's what
you
I would
get.
say.
Thanks a lot, Janvi.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here.
I hope
Thank you.
all the juniors can take from her the placement they can.
Yeah, I really
So
hope. I really hope that too. Thank you so much.
Thank you.